Hey Siege fans, I'm your host Seltzer, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to Operation Shadow Legacy, the biggest season yet to come to Siege. We're still coming at you from the comforts of our own homes, and we're excited to share what's coming up with the help of our very own Ubisoft news team. They've put together a quick look at what's in store today, starting with our newest operator. Most of you know him as Sam Fisher, but at Siege, we like to call him Zero.
You should know better than to write me off. Argus cam placed.
In Operation Shadow Legacy, a legend steps out of the darkness and into the light as Sam Fisher comes to Rainbow Six Siege. Armed with a powerful new intel-gathering gadget, a deadly new assault rifle, and a gruff demeanor honed over years of fieldwork, Fisher steps into his new call sign, Zero, with all the swagger you'd expect from an icon.
Perfect shot.
But Shadow Legacy is about more than one operator. It's about a whole host of gameplay modifications that will change the way you play Siege. Ping 2.0, new and updated optics, a hard-breaching secondary gadget, pooled reinforcements, and map ban, plus the match replay alpha phase on the test server are just some of the updates that, along with a rework of the scenic Chalet map, will ensure this season has a lasting legacy. It starts with Sam Fisher joining Team Rainbow as Zero, a medium-speed, medium-armor attacker. His SC-3000K assault rifle may look familiar to fans of his previous work, and it's right at home in Siege with a variety of optics to suit your preferred style. He can also rock the MP7, and he's got a 5.7 USG sidearm with an integrated suppressor in keeping with his signature stealthy style. Speaking of which, check out the laser sight on his Argus launcher. It doesn't just have the look, it also delivers the goods. Intel.
Ready. Argus launched.
Always one to use cameras to his advantage, Zero can fire his Argus projectiles into breakable and reinforced surfaces to burrow through and create camera vision on both sides of the barrier. Walls, floors, hatches, and ceiling are all potential peak points for Zero and his allies. And though the two-way cameras can only look in one direction at a time, there's no more versatile way to get a look into a room the defenders don't want you to see. Even if they can't burrow all the way through, Zero's camera projectiles will still stick into most surfaces, opening up a world of possibilities for cheeky new camera placements.
Cam deployed.
And it's not just intel they'll be gathering. Each Argus projectile can fire a single laser to destroy enemy gadgets or deal minor damage to enemies themselves. Zero's gadget is a powerful new tool for the attacking team, so defenders will want to keep their eyes and ears peeled. The projectiles make a distinct sound when burrowing into place, and can be easily destroyed with a bullet. Electrified surfaces will destroy the projectiles on contact. Also, mute jammers will keep them from functioning, while Wamai and Jaeger's gadgets will snap up any that fly by.
Cam in position.
But with so many places to deploy his gadget from relative safety, and so many ways to put it to use, Zero is sure to make his presence felt on Team Rainbow. The map you've been seeing here is likely familiar. I mean, who hasn't spent time in an expansive remote chalet surrounded by snow-capped peaks? The Chalet map rework brings some new navigation options to the Venerable Retreat, notably the ability to rappel all the way up and traverse the rooftop. There are some interior renovations as well, including one window you'll definitely want to watch out for, but we'll leave it to the level design team to tell you more. In fact, there is so much going on in Operation Shadow Legacy, we're going to have to let the developers take it from here. Big changes are afoot, folks. Don't go anywhere.
I told you it was a big season. Now let's dive in and take a deeper look at our map rework. Chalet, here we come.
Coming back to Chalet was really exciting, and it brought me back to my earlier years playing Rainbow Six, going through the woods with my squad, going towards the objective. And that's the same kind of feeling I have right now when I look at Chalet. Things we wanted to improve was the objective, making it a bit more fair on attack, and on defense, making it a bit more interesting, The way you attack the map now is completely different than before. Simply because we added repels in the map. You can move on the roof, that's completely different. The way you get line of sights into rooms and stuff, it's a simple thing, but for the map, like, it changes the whole dynamic. The only big change, I guess, in objective location is that trophy is not an objective anymore. So now you have kitchen and dining instead of having trophy, because we added the new stairs in trophy. So the basement is pretty much all there. Only for one major difference, which is something new, is that we connected the hallway that people call blue. From the stairs you can go to the hallway and into cellars. Cellar, we made it a bit different to help a lot of the defenders. So the garage door is a really cool way to attack the objective, and we didn't really want to change it too much. The only thing we did is add a window right above the garage door, making it so defenders can peek through the window and put pressure, and it just makes it so the gameplay is a bit more interactive during this phase of the attack, instead of just being the attackers opening the wall and that's it.
Operation Shadow Legacy marks the first time recruiting a known operator into Team Rainbow. Let's see what it takes to bring a legend like Sam Fisher into Siege.
There is a lot of elements in the Sam Fisher fantasy that revolved around the Sam Fisher Splinter Cell gameplay of infiltration, of stealth, against AIs. Those elements, we had to interpret them in a way that would fit a PvP game like Rainbow Six Siege. We're bringing this camera intel aspect, the fact that Sam has more intel than his opponent, that he can outsmart them. So that was the first step, trying to get an intel tool on attack for Sam that would feel interesting. And that's when we came up with this idea of just, how can I look in the next room? How can I have an idea what's happening on the other side of the wall? And that's where we came up with the idea of the camera drilling through the wall to give us information on the other side. It's when we started using that concept, which we felt was awesome and very natural in Siege, and as well also very Sam Fisher. We wanted to also have this gameplay that is so common to every iteration of Sam, where you are in those intel tools, but you don't just collect information, you also wait for the right time to act. And that's when we came up with the idea of this one laser shot that the camera has, because the fantasy of having a gadget embedded in the camera was strong, and also since the laser is visible and make noise, it is relevant for Zero to actually look at the defending team and maybe wait for them to be far away to use their gadget to not betray the location of your camera. And that gameplay of being in a cam and watching the defender pass by and wait for the right time to use the gadget is, to us, very Splinter Cell. Like, the core role of Sam here is definitely going to be intel gatherer. And as a result, one of the part is thrives very much, like he's really good at flank watching. Flank watching is really a strong suit. At the same time, we made a kit for him that would allow him to get rid of a lot of utilities. Defending team does not have access to IQ, so we could not afford to have those cameras being as subtle as Valkyrie, for example, and we had to make them more visible. So when they land, they make a distinct thud. They are bigger than a Valkyrie cam, they are a very distinctive shape, like a decal around it, so if you look for it as a defender, you should be able to find it. And it might be difficult to catch them with a regular mute jammer. Mute jammer are efficient at catching drones because you can funnel them through doors, drone holes, etc. So it's a pretty great way to go around a mute mode setup, for example. It is still a projectile. Jaeger and Wamai will interact with it just the same, which, depending on how you see things, might be a counter to Zero himself or to Wamai and Jaeger based on how much utility you bring. We're bringing a new weapon, and not just any new weapon. We're bringing the ST3000K, which is for us the iconic weapon of Splinter Cell. You're gonna recognize it right away by like the way it looks, the way it feels, and yeah, it's pretty great. It's definitely for us part of the Splinter Cell package, and it was really enjoyable to have that. But we didn't stop there. Like, we wanted to give you an option that would come maybe at a surprise and something very enjoyable for our community, and that would fit with what we see in this character, and that option is the MP7. This time with magnification.
There is definitely a buzz and a lot of research that went into it. Like, we put a lot of research into all our operators, but this is like, it was already an established character. So we had to go through and pick and choose, okay, what are we keeping? What are we redesigning? What is essential to the core? So it was a little bit intimidating because he's such a big character. We have an in-house Sam Fisher expert, so we made sure I checked in with him pretty much every step of the way. So Sam Fisher's new codename Zero, it's a sign of respect. Zero and Zero Alpha are actually call signs given to the net controller or commander. So it indicates his seniority. Harry is a psychologist. He doesn't have that military experience that Sam does. And coming in as an instructor, he's going to teach the rest of the guys a thing or two. So he's our first member of the ROS, Rainbow Operational Staff. My headcanon is always just Sam Fisher sitting in the back of the room with a coffee. He just doesn't say anything. He just looks at you and then walks away. Just pure judgment.
Now, if it hasn't sunk in yet that this season's a little bit different, we're about to make it crystal clear. This new era of Siege is kicking off with a ton of core gameplay modifications that are going to change the way you play. Here to tell us more are some of our wonderful developers from Montreal and Barcelona.
First of all, we're introducing 2 new sights, a new red dot and a new holographic sight. We are also bringing in 2 new scopes, one of it which is going to be at 1.5 zoom level, the other one is going to be at 2.0 zoom level. We are also changing the ACOG a bit. We're reducing the zoom level to 2.5 from 3.0. We are also keeping the 3.0 level. We're going to change the reticle and aesthetic insight of the scope, and it will also be distributed on DMRs. So yes, it's going to provide us with a new balancing tool for kits and provide you with different experience. So once the TS hits live for Shadow Legacy, feel free to hop in and provide us with some feedback. I hope that people find new favorites. They will rediscover some weapons that they discarded before because they didn't have the ACOG. Now with a 1.5x, maybe they'll discover like this weapon is crazy good and they'll have a new favorite. One of the most exciting one has to be the 1.5 on the Vector. It would have been too good to have an ACOG on it, but the ability to give a 1.5 and actually use the range, it's incredibly fun. With those new sights and scopes, we're also bringing in more customization for the players. You will be able to customize the sensitivity of each of those zoom level. So if you want to have a super quick 12x and a super slow 5x, nothing is stopping you now. Instead of having 2 global options, one for regular sensitivity and one for sensitivity while aiming down sight, we are keeping the global sensitivity, and we are also increasing the amount of sliders that you have control over. So you will have a slider for the 1x, you will have a slider for the 1.5, 2.0, etc. So more control for the players. We are introducing the accessibility tab in the option menus. So this will be the last tab that you see. When you open this, you will have plenty of choice for colors of your reticles. You will be able to choose from colorblind types or simply pick a colors among the choices. And one of the other things that we will bring to this customization is the opacity level of the reticles. You can open this menu and this tab while you are in game, and then you'll be able to change it whenever you want. So just like we mentioned at the 6th Invitational, we want to make new content for everyone to enjoy. This will also allow the balancing team to have more tools to balance the weapons, kits, and operators. So yes, making sure that every operators have fun options and fun guns.
In live, each defender has 2 reinforcements to deploy, so it's an individual amount of reinforcement. And with the new system of reinforcement, we have replaced this individual amount by a common pool of reinforcement. That means you have 10 reinforcement at the beginning of the round, no matter how player starts the round. If a player is disconnected or leaves the game, you have still 10 reinforcement available for all the team. Some operator has a lot of utilities to put in the environment. So no operator that has less to do during the preparation phase can focus on the reinforcement, for example. roamers can reinforce more than 2 hatches. It's globally, even in a PvE, for the Protector stage, we have implemented also the reinforcement pool. Improvement of the preparation phase is still an important axe for us, and we will continue to work on that in the future.
Right now we have only hero pin, but with new pin system, you just have to pin the gadget, and there was an icon tells you which gadget is there. So when you pin enemy gadget, you will be able to also reveal operator's identity on top of the screen. You can also pin your own gadgets. So this is useful for every level of the player, because let's say you pick the mute and you will be able to pin your own gadget to tell other players that I put mute gadget on this location. It's gonna be available on observation tool too. So you will be able to pin from camera and drone. We simply added number on hero pin assigned to each player, so it's gonna be 1 to 5. This will be decided at the beginning of a match, and you will keep until the end of the match.
So in the past few years, we saw that the attacker's composition is quite rigid, and bringing a hard breacher is a must, and we would like to ease it a little bit. And with the secondary gadget, the attackers don't need to bring a dedicated hard breacher, and maybe it can lead to some more exotic picks. So the hard breach charge, it's a bit slower, and the hole it makes is also smaller. It's still gonna be enough to vault through or crouch walk through, but you cannot just run through it. Deployment, it's gonna be automatically activated, so there is no remote triggering. At the same time, the fusing is quite long. We wanted to make it easier for the defenders to react to it. So either we can try to trick it, or we can try to run away if we want to. The hard breach charge can be deployed on reinforced hatches as well, and this is gonna be very important. We would like to try to pre-reinforce the rooftop hatches, and this means that at the beginning of the round, all the rooftop hatches would be reinforced by default. This would give the defenders new opportunities and new defense strategies, because now they can decide to commit to defend those hatches with the help of Kite, for example. We would like to put it to test server and let our players give it a spin. If it doesn't work or players don't like it, we are ready to revert it. But if it works, then let's go. We will move forward with it. In Season 3, we are changing a little bit the behavior of the EMP grenade of Thatcher. As of now, in the game, Thatcher's EMP grenade can have multiple effects on the defender's gadget. Some of them are destroyed right away, and some of them are disabled for a certain amount of time, and then they come back to life. We would like to unify this, and from Season 3, all the defender in-world gadgets will be disabled instead of destroyed. The bandit tricking will change a little bit because of this. Thatcher's gameplay is gonna be more interesting. It's not gonna be just like I leave an EMP here and then everything is cleared and I can just go to the other side of the map. Timing is gonna be important, and to play together with the breachers, with the rest of the team. We would like to give the agency to the players to influence what maps they are playing or what maps they don't want to play. This will reduce the frustration of the player who doesn't want to play this certain map, and also can even lead to sometimes toxic behaviors of rage quitting. We will introduce first in the ranked and unranked playlists, and in the future we might add it to other playlists as well. There will be 3 maps generated randomly from the playlist map pool, and each team can vote to ban one of those. And at the end, what is not banned, they will play that one. Or in case there is both team is voting for one map and there is 2 possibilities, then a random choice will be taken between the 2 maps.
Two long-awaited words are taking a step closer to reality this season: Match Replay. This new feature will be hitting the Shadow Legacy test servers in its alpha phase, and we're going to need your help putting it through its paces. Here's a breakdown.
I'm here to introduce Match Replay. I'm really excited to tell you that it will come for the first time on the test server with Season 3. Match Replay, it's a system that records your last played games. You will have the possibility to store up to 12 games that will be stored locally, and you will be able to find it in the new section of the game that will be called Watch. You just have to click on it and it will start automatically. You will start from the perspective of the spectator. So you will be able to see the map and the players from the top view. But I think even more interesting, it will be that you will have access to each player view. Regardless if it was your teammate or if it was your enemy, you will be able to see all the points of view, which is pretty exciting, and can't wait to see the reaction of everyone. The challenge for us actually, and always has been, is to make sure that it's a very reliable system in terms of what you're actually doing in the game. It's actually replicated really accurate in the Match Replay also. Right now it's an alpha version. This is because we are aware there is still a lot of work to do, and you will see that by your own when you will test it on the test servers. Just go try it and see how it is, because I'm very sure you will get pretty excited as I am. You will be able to see everything that happened in the game, and we also need your feedback to see how we can improve this feature even better.
Along with all the features coming to you in-game this season, we've got two features coming to you outside the game. You've told us how important it is to track your performance, and so we're going to launch a new personal stat tracker called My Siege Stats on Rainbow6.com. We've built this platform to be a meaningful tool to track your performance and help you become a better player. Simply enter your username and we'll give you a host of stats that you can use to analyze your matches and target areas of improvement. My Siege Stats will go live with the launch of Shadow Legacy, so hop in and check it out. We are also very excited to announce the release of Squad Finder, a brand new service to help Rainbow Six Siege players build the perfect team. Informed by your in-game data and playing habits, Squad Finder will help you find like-minded teammates and build the best squad in Siege. Squad Finder is already available on Rainbow6.com, so what are you waiting for? The more players who squad up, the better the experience will be. Now that we reached the end of the show, I hope you're as excited as we are for all the new content coming to Siege. The Shadow Legacy test server on PC goes live tomorrow, August 17th, and we've got a free week coming to Siege from August 27th to September 4th. So if you've got some friends who haven't had a chance to play yet, it's a great time to get them involved. Thanks so much for watching. Let's get back to the action.